Hey, actually, no, Joey,
guys,
that was great.
I'm such a good trad wife that my husband brought home a Costco pizza.
Oh,
oh, what a good trad man, a trad dad. Oh, I didn't bring that up. We got to start trad dad.
Oh, I
Trad
know.
dads.
Trad dad.
Well,
okay,
we
I
didn't
went-
talk about how much, like, when a woman gets her marriage falls apart, so does the man's. It's not like he's been sacrificing his whole life to this.
Well, and then he has to
He's
pay
been going
spousal
to work
support and
every
child support.
freaking day.
He
At
had to
least
give
he
up
should
his
have been.
dreams. They're just about how men give up their dreams too. And, you know, they're like, oh, women are just so squelched. They can't live their full potential. She talks about it. It's like, okay, yeah, men do the same. Like they have to sacrifice so much to stay at work.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Jonah
I think
was a
about
professional
Jonah.
musician.
Yeah. What he
And
gave
he-
up to be a father, a husband and father.
I was gonna
He
say,
got a
who
lot
here?
in return.
Yeah, who here is living Plan A?
Well said.
Anyone
my
living here
husband took
Plan
the
A?
LSAT. That was definitely once upon a time a dream. No, yeah.
Anyway,
Hooray
Right.
for our husbands.
That
I'm sad Meg wasn't here. Megan wasn't
that
here.
was
Yes.
hilarious. That 1 minute, I am going to make the intro. That was so funny.
So, Garden, you just need to pretend you're not recording, and then we'll give you great stuff.
Yeah.
We just need to pretend we're not recording.
I
guys.
hadn't
each other
turned
up.
I haven't turned off the recording button yet. I am so
What
glad
else
I
did we
got
miss?
that.
Here's my idea. You want to hear
Okay.
it?
Please,
Yeah.
yes, because
Mother's
I've
Day?
had
Okay,
such a
we
hard
talked
time
about
gathering
fathers.
my thoughts.
So I think we need to do like a trigger warning. Trigger warning Mother's Day episode. We are going to talk about how awesome Mother's Day is without any qualifier, or mothers are without any qualifiers. So instead of like, okay, we're not going to offend all the people, we're not going to offend all these people, we're just going to talk about how amazing it is. And you have to, if you need to keep scrolling, then keep scrolling.
And I think it would also be fun if we came prepared to share some like really funny stories about motherhood, like not necessarily condescending to our children, but like, you know, when Eve poked my eye and I had to, funny stories. I think it'd be fun if we came prepared with great
yeah.
mother stories. Cause
Oh.
today's, I think, there wasn't a lot of like jokes or things or funny
Yeah.
stories. And I really, if we want to do a Mother's Day one, I think if we praise moms and just tell funny mom stories, I think that could be really powerful. And then if people are tempted to be offended or whatever, at least they had a good laugh.
Okay. Dude, I am 100% down. You know what I'm
What were you
saying?
going to say, Joy? I feel like you were going to say something.
Oh, just funny Mother's Day stories. I'll have to send it in the Discord because it's a story. But aside from that, I was thinking, I am not in the greatest phase of motherhood at the moment. But I will say that the church is the only thing that validates that it's important.
Well said.
And so there are so many people that are like, oh, Mother's Day is so hard because yada, 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 yada. But there's no one saying like, hey, motherhood is hard. And the church is the only place saying this matters. And there's a
Yeah.
reason.
That is our podcast right there.
Right
What she
there.
just said.
But I do think that the mix of the fun Mother's Day stories is a good balance there.
I don't think, Joy, you're unique in thinking that you are in a hard part of motherhood right now. I know that with that first episode you guys did, one of the many reasons why I was like, I'm not going to be on it is I was feeling like I'm just useless in my life right now. Like I said, in my seasons, like my kids are gone all day, yet my house is still
Oh.
messy. I miss them. Like, what am I even doing with my life? I don't know if I could defend womanhood right now. Cause like, what do I have to say about it? Except like, that's actually really hard right now. But what you say is absolutely right, that when you are going through a hard time of motherhood, which is every stage of motherhood, by the way, it doesn't
Every
just
promotion.
every promotion is its own unique hard, and you think I'm in a hard stage of motherhood right now. Well, you were also in a hard, like I look back at bringing babies into the world and diapers and messes and playing with them all day. Like I miss that so much. Like I feel like so many days I would,
Which sounds like nuts to me.
in a second, I would go back to that. Like in a second.
Yeah.
Because I'm like managing chores and like communicating with teachers and dealing with talking back. Like so many things I feel like are so much harder and less fulfilling now than when I was like breastfeeding while making dinner and a baby is like biting another child. Like, oh, I was super mom then, but what am I now? I just think every stage is hard for its own reason. And all the more reason why in every stage we need the church and prophets who speak for God saying, what you're doing is important. Don't give up.
Yeah. And I think that's why people like WardRadio in our segment, especially because we're just raw and real and authentic. And I think a lot of times women kind of suffer in silence because they're like, I must not be doing this right because I'm feeling like resentful or I'm feeling guilty or I'm feeling this or that. When really it's such a common experience. I think every mother has felt at one point like, time out, I'm going to go drive around and I'm going to go get a soda by myself because I need a break. You know, like everyone has had those moments, but not everyone always talks about that because we're such in a society too where we're in our individual homes and we just are with our spouse or our kids and we don't really, there's no more like tribal village, right? Where like back in the day we were, you know, all kind of taking care of each other's kids, and now it's just mainly on us, just on one single mother, and it's hard. It is hard.
Mm-hmm.
Also, okay, this might make me sound like a brat, but I also kind of want to bring this up in the episode too. Does anyone else hate it in church on Mother's Day where they celebrate all women? Like, I recognize, right, that not everyone has the blessing of being a mother. I get it. But like, can we have one day where just mothers are celebrated? Like,
you mean that all the girls get a treat?
Yes,
or whatever?
like every woman gets it.
Stand up and we'll give you a bar of chocolate.
Yes, like no, like I just pushed out 2 kids and I'm doing diapers and everything. Like, can I have my chocolate bar? Like, why does Jill Schmill? Why does she get a chocolate bar?
The young woman.
Like,
Jill Schmill. So
Yeah.
unfair.
That needs to be a thing now. Oh man,
That's funny. Yeah, no, I don't have that at all.
I loved getting the chocolate bar when I was a young woman. So
Right? It's like, ha.
I mean, I
You
did too,
could
but
say
now as a
all
mom, I'm
mothers
like,
and future mothers.
Hey, but
girl,
here's
sit down. Like, you're not a mom.
So when I say celebrate mothers, that's what I mean. Like, I think at some level, it's nice to have a point where we can say, let's just talk about your experience for a minute as a mom, because it is unique and it's so life-changing. It's impossible to go back to how you used to think, like about how you used to function. Like, it's so transformative. And so getting lumped in with all women every single time is kind of tedious because there are things that are so unique to it.
I was just going to say, I've never understood why we don't just celebrate Women's Day. Let International Women's Day be the celebration of womanhood, and then let Mother's Day be the celebration of mothers. Like
I can
this,
get behind this.
but no, seriously, it's like,
But then we have Mother's Day, we have Father's Day, we have Women's Day, and then do we have like a priesthood day or like a men's day?
No, Father's Day is fine. Like, there's a reason why nobody celebrates Father's Day and everybody celebrates Mother's Day.
It's a bad reason.
Okay, you're right. It's a bad reason. We're fine. We're used to it. Whatever. But it kind of really has rubbed me as like the feminists and the screeching harpies got what they wanted when they were able to dilute motherhood into just plain old womanhood. And that's not to say that women that are aspiring to be mothers and can't for X, Y, or Z reason are any lesser or whatever. But it's like, it's the same logic of condemning men before they've committed crimes. Oh, let's give a ball and chain to every criminal and future criminal in the room, right? Is the same logic as, oh, well, let's give a flower to every mother and future mother. It's like, Well, the future mothers haven't gone through childbirth and that horrible breastfeeding process that hurts after they just had to like get stitches from their stake president, who is also their OBGYN, which is its whole new level of freaking, like awkward.
I loved it because I got preferential treatment. Like it was awesome. He was my stake president, and yes, he saw my hoo-ha all the time, and in the doctor's visit. Okay, let's make that distinction.
And then you had your Temple Recommend interview, and he asked you what color underwear you were wearing.
Exactly. Yeah, he's such a creep.
You know what color underwear I'm wearing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like that's the only thing where, and I'm glad this is bonus material, so don't feel bad jumping in, right? But like, I've never understood. It's like they're so afraid of what the blue-haired, angry wannabe lesbian feminist. I don't know what to call her. They're so afraid.
I'll tell you why this happens. And it's because it's coming from lots of different angles, right? Because there's the feminist viewpoint of it. There's the haven't had kids yet, but there's also I think the deepest pain that a woman can feel is the desire to have children and not be having them.
Yes,
so, like,
of course.
The pain of infertility. I think it's why in the Bible there's all these stories about barren women who longed for a child their whole life. I think it's the crucible for women that they deal with. And so in an effort to spare the pain for those women, we try to dilute the awesomeness out. We try to
which is the wrong approach. That's why we need Women's Day.
Yes.
It's okay to celebrate International Women's Day and recognize all women, regardless of their fertility status,
are epic. Yes.
Yes, are epic.
Yes. And then, excuse me. And then because when we do dilute it, we actually mock their pain. We say, oh, that thing that you want so much that's tearing you up inside.
Doesn't matter. It's optional.
It's not even that big a deal. You can just be a woman and it's fine. And that actually doesn't help the pain. It makes it worse. It's like complaining about kids in front of someone who wants them. I like this Women's Day idea. Let's do it. Start
all right. Actually, that could be another one of our inventions at WardRadio. We publicized Moroni Day. And even though it was actually already in the zeitgeist, I like saying we popularized it.
Totally.
You know what I'm saying?
Totally.
And seriously, I've never had a problem with Women's Day. Like, our history is replete. The Bible is replete. Our scriptures, our storybooks, our history books, everything is replete of women. Our hymnals are replete with women that made amazing contributions, and we celebrate their uniqueness and their half of the yin and the yang. So let's just have Women's Day to hand out all the flowers. And guess what? Moms get them, the young women get them, and what better way of just reestablishing the divinity of, dare I say, the divine feminine? All right?
Boom.
But
there's another
mothers,
podcast, the divine feminine.
Yeah, mothers are mothers. Like, I'm sorry. And guess what? On Grandfather's Day, which there actually is one, you know what I'm saying?
Can I get a chocolate on Grandfather's Day?
Well, there's some that would argue nowadays.
If you identify as a grandfather.
Yes. There's some that would say so nowadays, yes. But I'm just saying, grandparents, like on Veterans Day, we don't say like, okay, we're going to celebrate all past soldiers and future soldiers. Hey, you 5-year-old kid that has no idea how bad boot camp sucks and has no idea how, what it's like to get shot in the leg and has never lost a friend in battle. Hey, come up here and take a Purple Heart. You know what I'm saying?
Not gonna lie, that's kind of why I don't like the War in Heaven veterans hats.
Because you're
both of my grandpas were veterans, and so it just kind of rubs me wrong. Of like, yeah, but we don't remember.
We didn't do anything.
Maybe we did. Maybe we didn't. Maybe I was sitting on my butt being lazy. But
yeah. So what we've done, because I'm very what's it called? I'm very cognizant of the don't want to do the whole stolen valor thing. You want to be able to ride the line between what is humor and what is spoofing, and like. Actually, I'm not
right on that line.
Yeah, it's so
okay. It's kind of funny, but also like.
Yeah, but so what's funny is this was the prototype that Jonah made. The ones that I just made. Actually, hold on. I'm picking them up. Oh, I don't have them here for you.
Can I show this?
Oh, I didn't know you made more of those.
No, I got the prototype made, and here's what I've done: is it says "War in Heaven." You know what I'm saying? and then veteran, it's got a bar that's red, white, and blue, but it coincides with the Nauvoo Legion's standard that it's not an American flag square. It's actually like the flag of Nepal that has the big bite taken out of it. And then on the side, in really big letters, it says first class body recipient. And then on the back, it says wardradio.com. And then it's got this thing here, which Jonah came up with, which is really cool. Do you see that middle graphic where it's the pre-existence, the existence? And then it's got that emblazoned on the side. So it's like, I'm pretty sure that, and I didn't use the orange letters that the veterans used. I used the white letters. So it looks more kind of like a sports teamish / surf and skate vibe. So it's like, I want it to kind of like, you want it to be an obvious spoof, but also it needs to look authentic enough that people know what you're spoofing. But it's going to be cool because like when people look at it, they'll see like the stars and stripes, but it's a triangular flag, not an angular flag. And so they're going to be like, oh wait, what is that? So it's meant to kind of garner a what is that thing instead of like being that liar in the bar that says he's a Navy SEAL to get the girls. You know what I'm saying? So,
I love it, but I don't have military family, so I don't know.
No, it's
Maybe
a tough one.
different.
Like Joy's right, and it was something I was kind of cognizant of because it's too good of a joke not to make, but you want to try and make it in a way that's like, okay, we're not actually trying to come across as veterans. Like, don't give us a free hot dog in Central Park. Okay, I'll pay for my hot dog, right?
You know, there's something in the culture here in Washington that I think is so fun. And I think Jonah's part of it, where they ask each other as men, where they say, hey, did you serve? And they're referring to their missions. And so then when they say, oh, yeah, I served my mission here, and they say, thank you for your service. It's kind of like, I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
But maybe Joy, you'd be like, that's not cool.
No, I'd be fine. That didn't bother me.
Because you actually did something. Hey, I think I fought valiantly in the war in heaven, guys.
Dude, I'll tell you right now, this is when I know that men are back. And this effeminate leadership model that we've espoused for 50 years is over with. When we start our paramilitary organization, that's when I know.
What's the temple with that looks like a castle?
Dude,
you're prepared to arm?
Dude, I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you, like if you read the prophecies, the protection of the innocent will be upon the shoulders of the righteous. And it's like, I got to tell you, like, if I were a prophet and I had 15 billion going around, I wouldn't start engaging wars. I wouldn't start conflicts. But let me tell you, when I see these dudes in Africa with their child armies and the West doesn't want to go in because they're like, we have no assets in there and no interests. So it's heartbreaking and it's tragic, but we're not going to do anything. I'm like, I've got volunteers. I've got volunteers. You know what I'm saying? Like and by the way, Waco, Texas, also most of it actually will really be just like, so people don't mess with us because like, do you realize the U.S. government was sent to destroy the Saints in Salt Lake City, right?
Oh yeah.
They were sent to destroy us. And it wasn't until their spies came back 2 days march out of Salt Lake City. And the spies were like, dude, don't. These people are armed to the teeth and their women know how to operate muskets. Like we're not just fighting 10,000 men. We're fighting like 10,000 men plus 2,000 girlfriends. Like just don't, we don't want to do this, you know? And then so they turned around and I was like, dude, I'm sorry, but it's just like the end times, they're going to be crazy.
My sister's ward, they were having some security threats. And so they started a little system where they had the priesthood all take shifts 2 at a time to guard the building every night, to go lock up the building every night, check every window, every door, every night, even though it had been locked up by people whenever. And my brother-in-law says it was the best thing that had ever happened to that ward because collectively those men were protecting the ward. And they felt it. They knew it mattered. They knew that they were standing defense of the ward.
We have
And I've heard that too. And the men say they loved the bond when they were there patrolling at night.
Then they're there
the men just
chatting.
got to talk,
they're catching up, talking about their problems, their victories. But because they got to do it together and they were doing something, they weren't just sitting around in a room like having root beer floats. Like they were doing something real to protect the congregation or to protect the ward, and it was really cool. And they just rotated through all the men every night.
So check this out. John Eldridge once said that
I gotta go, but bye guys.
Okay.
I gotta take my son to a class.
last thing I'll say, and then you guys can
You
go
say
too.
your last thing, and then
Then I'll go too. John Eldridge said this, and by the way, craft your marriage around this phrase, and you will have the most insanely happy marriage on the planet. This is the man hack, ladies. John Eldridge.
I'm taking notes.
Yeah, go look up this quote by John Eldridge. Okay, and he's the one that wrote "Wild at Heart: Discovering the Secret of a Man's Soul." But he said,
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, he said, deep in his heart, every man longs for a battle to fight, an adventure to live, and a beauty to rescue. So I actually interviewed my elders quorum on a secret ballot once. And I put this out and I said, as a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints men, what do you feel is your battle in the church? Do you feel we have a battle to fight, an adventure to live, and a beauty to rescue? None of them could lay down that as men in the church, what is our battle to fight? What is our adventure to live? And what is our beauty to rescue? The beauty to rescue is easy for the married men. They're like, yeah, I it's my wife. Okay. But the battle to fight and an adventure to live, they were clueless. And so many of them said, like, I've never felt like I had an adventure in this church since I served my mission. Men are floundering in our faith because every single one of those task-oriented jobs, like simply protecting the church and locking it up and making sure that this credible threat is addressed, is an empowering thing. That was simultaneously an adventure to live while also a battle to fight. But even just small things like that, like men, we do not bond by chit-chatting. It's the shed study in Australia. If you want to get men to talk, put them in a shed with a lawnmower that's broken. And then as they start fixing the lawnmower that's broken and they start passing each other's tools, that's when they'll start griping about, my old lady doesn't dress nice anymore and she screams at me in the morning when she's angry. But I know it's just because she hasn't had her ibuprofen yet. What's yours like? You know what I'm saying? And then they'll just start saying, by the way, that's not my life. I was just trying to make something up. All right. But it's like, that's what they say. So anyway, with your husbands, legitimately understand them well enough to know what their adventure is that they want to adventure and what their battle is that they want to fight. And as long as they maintain a battle they're fighting and an adventure they're living, you will be the beauty that they love and they will be the happiest dudes on earth and give you whatever you want. And our church is so uniquely poised to do this. I've always said the first president of the church. And by the way, do you ever notice Elders Quorum doesn't have a general priesthood body? There's a general.
I saw that in that news article.
Yeah, there's a general Relief Society president. There's a general Young Men's presidency. There's a general Young Women's presidency. The only guys that are left without leadership are the men.
Adult males.
And without leadership, the adult men, we go where we're needed. And you know where we're needed is at work. So we'll always say, I'm sorry, I'm busy, I'm at work. Why? Because at work, at least there's still at least there's a battle to fight. I'm a pest control guy. There's a bed bug pandemic going on right now in the West Side.
Oh, you fight that battle.
So,
Thank you.
I'm a DWP guy. There's a hurricane coming, so we have to retrofit the Eastern Seaboard. You know what I'm saying? With no battle, we are floundering. The church succeeded and attracted men because we had to move west, and then we had to survive persecution, and then we had to move west again, and then we had to survive persecution, and then we had to X, Y, Z, build temples, start missions, this, that. Now the church in North America is absolutely adrift because the men have no battle to fight, and it's not their fault. It's leadership's fault. You literally have the only body of the church that's supposed to be running it leadershipless.
Well, I don't know if it's 100% leadership fault. I mean, I think that in a prosperous society,
yeah, sure,
feminists absolutely.
But let's ask ourselves,
society.
But let's ask ourselves, how seriously are we taking a movement with no leadership?
They do need a leader. I absolutely agree. Someone needs to be looking out for the men. I love men, and they. They need
the
someone
first
taking care of them.
the first president of the church, or the first Area 70 assigned to North America or whatever, the first leader that treats elders quorum like it's the Boy Scouts will reactivate hundreds of thousands of floundering families and bring with them millions of wives and children. But they're not, because they're afraid of what the feminists are going to say.
Well, I was going to say, I think back when families elevated men to the position of presider in the home, I think it was maybe less necessary. But now they're not allowed to do that.
Yeah.
Because they're oppressing people. They're toxic. And I'm so tired of it.
Yeah.
I'm so sick of it.
Yeah.
If the roles were reversed, can you imagine what the feminists would be saying about the role that the women would have to be playing if they were the men? That we're expected to do all of this for no thanks. We're expected to just abandon our families and serve everybody all the time. And we have to do everything and no one helps us. I mean, I can hear them screeching now. And so yet still they view the men as somehow I just want men to be allowed to be men again.
Yeah. Yeah. So talk to
I really want to do an episode about responding in support to David Moreau's episode about why men hate going to church. I think that we can do a lot to, support.
All right, noodle on it.
For that.
I know you girls got to go, and I'm super grateful that I got to talk with y'all. But
my homemade Costco pizza is getting cold. So.
Yeah, dude, for real. Go do your thing, man.
Made it home from the store.
All right, see you girls later.
Thank you,
Carden.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks.
See ya.
See y'all later.